Is Brad on or not? Do we know?
I do not believe so. It
Okay,
didn't sound like he was going to be able to.
I didn't think he was. All right. Let's call the meeting to order. Approval of the agenda. We're gonna take off number 12. Are we taking off A and B? Do we have the MOU discussion or is that held up too?
Yep, we're taking off A and B and moving those to January.
You're moving, so we're taking number 12 and moving that to the January meeting, which is January 3rd,
Yes.
January 3rd meeting. Okay. With that, any other changes? Is there a second? Tracy made the motion. Second by Doug. All those in favor then say aye. Opposed? All right. Approval of the minutes from December 6th. They were in our packet.
I'll move.
Okay, Tracy,
I'll second it.
Mr. Wood. Any comments, anything, any changes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Public comments. If your public comments are on the public hearings, you would wait till we open up the public hearing for that specific one. Otherwise, if it's anything just in general, we will take public comment. Is everybody here for the public hearings? Seems to be okay. We do not have any other supervisor here. So we will go to that land and water then. We'll do our presentation.
So we're at that time of year again, we're closing in on another year of good work in the Land and Water Resources Department. And over the year and even years previous, as you know, we have a lot of citizens that help us with our programming and go above and beyond to help advance goals related to water resource management. And it's very important. We feel it's important that we recognize some of these volunteers and thank them for their service. So with that, next slide, please. I'll give a little description of this Land and Water Resource Stewardship Award and how it came to be and who it's intended for. So this award can be awarded to both an individual or a group, and each award winner has been a valued partner in Land and Water Resource Department program delivery. Each award winner has dedicated a significant amount of time assisting with initiatives related to soil and water resource management. And each award winner is a leader and has influenced many of their peers and even youth to engage in resource management practices. Each award winner continues to proudly support natural resource protection efforts to make Polk County the best place to live, work, and play. So at this time, I'll visit a little bit about our Land Stewardship Award winner. This award winner has had a long history in supporting and promoting our youth education events and contests. They've promoted our poster and speaking contest and recruited many participants within those contests. This individual has demonstrated a deep commitment to youth programs and conservation, even most notably fundraising and donating for meals during these events, particularly our Tri-County Soil Judging Contest. Our Land and Water youth programs have been extremely successful because of the generosity and time and commitment of this individual. So with many thanks and appreciation, I'm honored to present Jeannie Alling the 2023 Land and Water Resource Stewardship Award. So congratulations, Jeannie. Our 2023 Water Stewardship Award winners are committed to monthly monitoring for aquatic invasive species through our Citizen Lake Monitoring Program. Starting in 2020, this group of individuals have taken a team approach to monitoring. And they've been monitoring Long Lake, and they've made this easier by dividing the lake into sections and taking a team approach where each team member does their part. And with that approach, the entire lake is covered easily and monitored for aquatic invasive species. These monitoring results are submitted to Land and Water Resources for reporting to our department and the DNR. So with that, our 2023 Water Stewardship Award winners are John Suzukita, Diane and Tom Schmidt, Arjeen and Bill Seaver. They are here with us today. Thank you very much for your service. John wasn't able to make it today. We'll get him his award and thank him for his service. So that concludes our award presentation. So thank you very much.
That's the Long Lake right out here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
So what does Caitlin get now? Because she's a published author here and all these books and stuff. So how do we do that?
We're lucky to have her. Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
Before they leave, can we have Claire get some pictures of the award winners so we can do a press release?
Absolutely. So we're gonna go down and we'll take some pictures down in our office space. So excuse me for a little bit and we'll go do that. I'll be back and we'll get those pictures to Claire when we're through.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Cody, can we get yours done in 20 minutes?
I believe so.
Oh, cool. Let's get our.
Second year you're in. We'll do a barn prison program. And, you didn't know the area. This year is a little bit different than last year. I think every year the program changes, depends on what the wildlife is doing. Ending 22, we had a lot of snow last year. So we had a lot of work on stored feed, silage, and so that kind of carried into 23. People kind of any claims on stored feed, but there was some shooting permits issued to help with some of the damage. And it just goes to show that how different the winters and the years can be here. Here we are, there's the way through December without any snow, so we're trying to figure out what that's going to be. But, so I guess for this year we have some enrollments that are eligible for claims, and with those claims, we need to set, the county needs to set price on the commodities for the crops that were damaged by the eligible wildlife species from last year. And they're able to get that to you guys.
Yes, I think all of us have.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have one.
So the species that we do have eligible claims on for this year are geese, bear, and deer. We've seen an increase in the number of deer claims in Polk County in 23.
That part.
It just seems like it's bear was bear damage has been trending downward. This year, damage in the cornfields from the bears, which is drastically. So we have crops that we do have to set prices on today are corn, field corn, sweet corn. We do have one claimant that has a sweet corn production. And that is enrolled for deer damage. We do have landscape trees. So nursery trees that were damaged, from deer bugs rubbing on the trees. Although not always killed, they're readily on sale. And damage from the allergy. So, we have soybeans on there.
Okay. So should we start with the corn? That's
Yeah.
how it's listed out in ours. So, we have 3 different price listings in there.
Sure, so I've got, yeah, just 3 different proposed prices based on risk management, so the spring, February, October, that's technically generally considered the insurance price, what they have for corn.
And them are all Chicago Board of Trade prices. They're not local spot prices.
Just in the first price.
Number one, yeah.
Yeah, number one. Second price, that's the local price averaged. Just remember, as I checked this morning, deal has actually dropped down to 114. And it's usually a good average for the area of what we can see. And then I did average August, September into October for that number 3, so that's generally a slightly higher. Highest rate before harvest, so that was numbers I had. No, I think I'm one of these in November, so I don't know. November prices in December, so we're
Sure. Okay, Justin, what do you think there?
Number 2.
Number 2 is a good average?
From what I can see, I mean, because it's one of those things, unless you're contracting, you're not gonna be over that 430.
Oh, I see, okay.
And I don't think you can take August and September prices, again, unless you're contracting, you're gonna get that 430 for it.
Okay.
and it's kind of an average because some people may have contracted and maybe are just selling, at harvest, so just try to give all the prices to show where it could be within the range. And then
All right, what does everybody think? 430 then? By consensus, I think, and then I think we'll go by consensus, then at the end, we'll make a motion to do all the pricing. Does that work for you?
Yep, that sounds good. However,
Okay.
you want to choose, that's
So we're gonna take the corn at 430. Okay. Now we can jump into the sweet corn.
so. Sweet corn is kind of straightforward. I just kind of used their retail numbers. They were selling them for 50 cents a year. Comparing to other supermarkets and prices around, that's about what both sweet corn is.
That's about what it was on the road stands.
I think it's a little high, but that's my opinion.
What do you think is low?
And if you want to adjust it, that's
Because this isn't somebody that commercially grew it, it's for like a roadside stand or something.
well, that is a commercial growing, if with multiple stands, you don't have a minimum of what commercial is. So,
But it's not like an 80-acre field that you're growing for the cannery. It's a field that they're picking.
right, but I guess we don't discern the commercial now. It's a large part of their
Right.
income is this, and they do many acres of sweet corn. This producer does. We did have contracts with grocery stores at one time, but
Think it's too high, close enough?
Either way, I mean, do I think it's high? Yeah. I mean, somewhere between 5 and 6, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters.
Okay.
So
I
I,
think 6, all right. What do you think, Doug?
It seems a little high just because at the stand, we didn't run around 6, but there's no hauling involved.
I mean, 5 seems like a more logical number to me, but
You split the difference, 550?
I'm not gonna argue one way or the other. I just think it sounds a little high, so
So
Justin thinks 550 would be okay. We could.
550 then?
550.
Let's go 550 then. Like an auction here.
So next we have the landscape trees. And so these are trees that were sold or is priced on site. That's not a balls and burlap or a home tree. So that's what that producer had for their prices on those trees.
I haven't bought trees for a while, so I don't.
Me either.
It
It's
seems-
not some, generally it looks about 30% more for all burlap than delivered tree. And so some of the sources I saw were just, they didn't have on-site prices, they had delivered or. planted.
Oh, sure.
So you kinda
Okay.
have to-
Was this a large damage report on this one or not? Too bad.
No, this is only, eight trees total.
Okay.
Generally with the buck rubbing, we're not gonna get widespread across like you'd see with the browsing situation. It's generally a buck will have a few trees that they rub, and that's the extent of the damage.
Sure.
But if they do rub right on the face, it's unsaleable to them. Tree that they sell is
All right.
How did you come up with those prices? And my only thought goes a 3-foot high evergreen tree. So you're talking pine tree or
These are
5-foot,
their prices that they've issued.
but you go buy a Christmas tree and a Christmas tree is gonna be taller than 3 and 5 feet and you're gonna pay 50 to 80 bucks for a Christmas tree.
Somerset average 65.
And that's a cut tree.
You can cut it yourself or whatever you do, it doesn't matter. I'm just asking, that's the only,
This was the prices that they gave me off of this sale list.
so you didn't look at any other nurseries? What you were getting?
I did, yep, and they were between 150 and 170 for delivered trees at that tree. I don't know what the discrepancy between pine trees is. It's a one and done. Generally, the pine trees that we do have some enrollees that have or Christmas tree plantations, and they're generally faster growing than some of these. They do have some stuff that's more susceptible.
All right. Nursery stuff is high, so I'm just thinking, do we just leave those or isn't that many?
That's fine if,
Should we just leave these 4? I think we'll just leave those 4 prices as they are marked here. That helps.
to get the highway guys on the ditches and pull out those pines.
Alright, I'm gonna go get them.
Profit center.
I'm gonna get them.
There you go.
I'm gonna move, I'm gonna get them.
Have fun and then try to sell them. Yeah. Okay.
So the last thing we have is the soybeans. And I guess we just have the.
About the same as the corn
Yep,
deal,
and
isn't it? Yeah.
Well, you don't have an average.
I don't have an average or local. It seems like that's hard to do that. So,
It's
so
about
just kind of give you a range of that.
1284 to 14.
figure it out.
Get her wizard.
So soybeans today are 12.39, and I think they've been between 12 and 13 bucks, like all fall.
1350 works better on a calculator than 76, doesn't it?
It does.
What do you think it would be?
What did I just tell you they were today?
1326.
12, I thought I said 12.36.
You said 12.
12.36 or 12.39.
1239 to 14.
You know, so I guess if we're going it'd be nice if we had the average so we could make the decision the same way we made on the corn.
Sure.
And I don't know what that average for November was exactly in my head, but you're gonna be close to that. So if you take the RMA data, so you gotta take a basis off that, so you're looking, what they said for, well, that'd be November pricing on soybeans, right, Cody?
Right.
So 12.84 minus probably 60 cents, you're looking at 12.20. So, I don't, what's your recommendation on soybeans, Cody?
There was some, soybean market kind of was doing a little bit of.
Yeah.
Stuff, but I think that that's.
12.50 be a fair price in your mind?
So I'm gonna excuse myself a little bit from trying to make the exact number. It does sound like that's the lower end of my range and like really high end if guys, contracted at 13.5.
Right.
More. I don't think hardly many people saw that 14.
12.75.
I'm fine
Okay,
with that.
split
If
the
you guys are
difference.
fine with that.
Split the difference and go 12.75. All right, 12.75. Going once, going twice.
The hard part for me is to get the bushels. I really just have most of the claims finalized with the bushels lost. And so I'm just assigning value this the step of the dollars. So on the bear damage with the deer this year, we saw it's so reduced that our bear claim numbers, the per bushel per field is down way low, and our yields also lower. So the corn part of our claims significantly lower than it's ever been. That anecdotally from
It's so sporadic in the county where you're at. Just, I mean, our corn, we were drier. Eric, you live down in our neck of the woods. I'm surprised we had the corn we did. So, that was kind of a theme, I think, with everybody is it was better than they had thought originally, so.
These are kind of close to last year's prices, aren't they?
Corn was down.
No, so, yeah.
Corn's down over $1 a bushel.
Sure. But with less, that helps too.
That's where the market's at. I mean,
Yeah.
So with these prices set, I guess, do you want to do a motion after?
I think we can do a motion to have these prices then set. So I'll entertain a motion for,
I will make that motion to
Can you-
approve the
okay.
prices as we set.
as we set. So corn is 430, sweet corn is 550. The trees are that are in here, 100, 170, 50, 195. Soybeans is 12.75. Is there a second to that motion? Okay, Doug seconds that. Pretty good. All those in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We've set your prices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that our January or February meeting that you come to?
You guys have availability for me,
Okay,
preferably January.
preferably the January meeting?
If there's, yeah.
Okay, I think we'll have room only.
I sure hope so.
It's the first Wednesday in January.
So it's the 3rd. Okay, so that'll be on ours. The final. Tim, 5 minutes? No way, huh?
I can do some of it if you want.
Do some or just take a break to get ready for
Doesn't matter to me.
let's just get ready for for our public hearings to make sure we're set up. Because I don't, okay. Yeah, I suppose we can do a little of it.
Whatever you want.
Sure,
Okay, I'll get it started.
get it started.
I'll take the really fun stuff for after.
Okay.
First thing I want to bring up is an update to our GIS website. So you might be familiar with WebGuide Extreme. That company was sold recently. So this new company called Beacon will be now the provider for our GIS online site. The current site will be shutting down on Friday. And so the new site is up and ready to go. You can see that online right now, that go and click on interactive maps on our website. The Beacon site is up and running right now. Staff had training on Tuesday, an hour long, and that video for training is also going to be served up online. So anybody in the county, whoever was looking at our GIS site can look at that information and get trained on how to use the new website. So I'll talk to Brad about any other information or educational opportunities he wants to have with the rollout of the new website. But a lot of the functionality is pretty similar, thankfully. I'm trying to make a few improvements. One of the things that in the I really liked is like you can have the historical aerial photos up side by side and have a slider, so you can just see what changes. You could have like the 2000 aerial photo up and the 2020. You can see in real time what it looks like in terms of the difference on the property. So that's kind of a neat feature
Can you find the permits on there?
on the new site.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head, but Brad has
Yeah,
been
that's
working
nice.
super hard to get all the functionality and then some of the old site into this new site. So that's a question I'll have to follow up with him.
Because that's why the other one, we didn't have as many calls. We have to call to have somebody else in the office look it up all the time.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'll-
that's a huge one to see if we can
I'll ask Brad.
train us how to do it.
Right.
There will be an online training webinar available on the site. We've been doing some online trainings here the last few days, and that will be available for viewing. So there will be some resources attached to Beacon for.
To go through it and try to figure it
It's
out.
about
All right.
45 minutes long or something like that.
Sure.
Look for that.
Questions on that?
I just, Eric, I go on there and look that up quite often, so when is this webinar? How will we get notified about it?
It should be on the Beacon site itself, but I think maybe a mailing to supervisors could go out notifying you that it's available.
Okay,
There will be a link right on the Beacon page. At least
It's
that's-
shutting down, W.
That's what
Extreme,
Brad-
it's actually shutting it down, so it's a mess.
Yes, and the transition from the sale, that was the first of the year was the drop dead date that everybody, this isn't unique to us in Polk County, it's happening like statewide. A lot of people used to use the the WebGuide Extreme, and with the purchase of that software by this company Beacon, it's transitioning in a lot of places all over the state.
Joining counties had to switch to, yeah. It's a,
So, just like we experienced when we originally did WebGuide Extreme, there'll probably be some hiccups and learning curve in terms of how to use the new software and stuff like that. But the functionality that's built into it, Brad's been working really hard to get the functionality to be what it was before and then some. Might need some patience and training, but we'll get there.
patience this day and age, are you crazy?
Yep.
Really.
One more thing I'll mention before we transition here is just for your information. There's been a telecommunications tower application that's come through for the town of Farmington. There's been some blowback on that from the residents and the town itself, and that application is being appealed and will be seen at the January BOA. So,
Okay. And that's something they took away from us anyway.
Yeah, if
The
you look at
state
the
did.
ordinance
The
and the
state-
state statutes.
State
yeah,
statutes took it away from us.
pretty much, we can't do anything about where it's located.
Yeah, okay. All right,
The rest,
yep, we'll transition into
to be continued.
to be continued, okay. He needs one.
Does he need something?
No,
Do
he
you
should
need
be,
something? Okay. 'Cause
okay,
I'm
so
like,
you're good.
Nope, I was just hanging out for a little bit.
okay.
Okay, so
And I'm
January,
like, we're
January
keeping you
3rd.
here for some, I'm like, does he?
Well, it's the next one I gotta sign all
9:31.
9:31.
All right. Who is presenting? Are you gonna, let's read then, we'll start with the Nick Walton property.
Morning.
State your name and who you're representing, please, for everybody. It's recorded.
Yep, absolutely. So Claire Michelson, I'm the interim zoning administrator with MSA Professional Services. This is the public hearing for the Nick Walton property, the request for rezone from residential agriculture to mining, M1, for a parcel located at 1352 140th Avenue, section 23, town 34 north, range 17 west, town of Balsam Lake. Parcel number 006 00647 0000 40 acres. So parcel in question is up on the screen currently. Zoning of R5, the property to the east, southeast, and some of the other shapes are all zoned mining currently. And the remaining parcels around it are zoned RA5. That's what the current parcel is. The parcel meets the lot size dimension and setback requirements for M1 regulations in the county ordinance. And this did receive approval from the town board of supervisors at their September 2023 regular meeting. And the county previous to this meeting did receive 2 emails from surrounding residents expressing their concern with the basis of evaluation of the property, loss of enjoyment of the property, environmental impacts, blasting and noise next to their property, and dust and particle travel from the activity into theirs. And the second email or letter that was received by staff was just concerning the exact property line location. There is no current system on file. The property staff did just do that, and we weren't able to find anything on the county's records at this time, but it is the original 40. That's background on the I have from a staff standpoint.
Okay, and just on ours, just at the first page, it was a typo on the,
Yeah.
on
with
the
parcel
PID
ID, yep,
that should be 47.
and then
I think when you said the address, I think you said 140th Avenue, not 145th.
145th Avenue. Okay. I'm sure I read from the public hearing notice. If I said it wrong, I apologize, but it is located at 1352 145th Avenue in the town of Balsam Lake.
All right, and we have you seen the letters that were sent with it? Now, this is a rezoning, so we can't put conditions on the survey and all those things.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So this is more for when they come back for the conditional use, these 2 letters,
Sure, absolutely. They would be important. If
at that time, not now, really. Okay. Town approved it.
Do we have the opportunity at this point, or after she's taken care of?
After she's done, then you do get,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah, you get to speak.
I guess 2, we can get to the findings later, but I did speak with Chair O'Connell earlier prior to the meeting about finding number 4, that the parcel is designated as a farmland preservation area. I want to clarify that that is not the farmland preservation zoning district. That is purely the guidance from the county's long range farmland preservation plan that is done with the land and water resources section. I think this had come up in a prior application, but that was zoned farmland preservation. This is a more of a land use guidance that from areas that were designated, and so staff thought it was important that that was included in the findings. But I just wanted to clarify that it's not a zoning district, it's a designation from long range planning done by county staff.
All right, any questions of staff right now? Good, okay, thank you. Okay, now, if we have any public comment.
I'd love to have it.
Yes, come on
We
up.
can leave that up there too, that'd be great. I want to find out my top graph. My name is Dave Coleman. My father lives adjacent to the property, actually to your left on the screen here.
Could you point that out where the house is?
Yeah, right here, actually, right on this property line here. They'd be in that corner over there.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, we know progress is gonna move forward, things change, that isn't what we're here about. What we're looking at is a lot of things that have come up over the years is where property lines, disputes, whatever, we've never had those problems. But what we have looked at is really the topographical situation here. The elevation of this property is very flat during the field section, and then it ends up into the tree line. Everything flows very, very steep from about 1180 to 1200 down to about 1120, 1140. And it all flows downhill towards our property. So there's about 138 yards from this property line from the field and about 200, just shy, I think, of 200 yards from that section. So our concern really comes down to erosion, the environment, what's gonna happen to our property. I think that as we make decisions, those are the kind of the decisions we gotta look at, is how does it affect somebody else's property? We understand that there can be change and things are gonna happen. But when we look at that, we're looking at more or less how it's all gonna flow downhill. And it all heads down into the north, it'll be northwest corner for the most part. And that also is one other major problem, the power line. My father and I believe four other homes are fed power from the power line that runs from that property. And that is in the lowest part of the property as well, about 1120, I believe it to be elevation. So the power line that runs to my father's home is on the lowest part there and then rises back up to our property. So we do have another concern, and if Polk has not been brought in for planning on this, that's a huge problem, I think. And I don't know if that's been dealt with, but no one's talked about it. That if that's the only power source for four other homes that are at my father's home and across the road from him, we need to kind of address that before any decisions are made. And I understand that they may have solutions to that problem, but at this point, I'm a little concerned about it. So the other thing that we also do note is that this is an active gravel pit here, right next to this property, right adjacent to it. We have one another half mile away, and we've had two others in the last 25 years that are not active now within a half mile of this property. So are the homes in this area being affected with their water table, the wells, as they just keep coming into the area? I know it's a good area for, you know, the mineral rights, but are we really gonna start pushing that limit when there's a lot of homes that have been built on 140th, I think it is, and across the road from my father, we have several homes going in there too now. So I don't know if any studies have been done about the water issues that could occur with these wells. So that was my comments. Hopefully that kind of changes things as far as the power line. That's a huge issue for us. And I think the slope of that land is another issue with erosion. And I don't know if that means maybe a setback farther for that area. maybe some type of a compromise to that, because that's a very steep slope that is hard to walk down. So. Any questions?
No, okay, thank you. No, we can't debate.
No, I just wanted to know if I didn't say something clear, that's like, not a debate.
I see what you mean.
Yep.
But most of this now, this is just, we're doing just the zoning first. When they come in to get a permit or anything, that's when you would bring these concerns up.
Okay.
So make sure you're aware of that.
Sure,
That when they come in for a conditional use permit, that's when you would come in and say, here's my concern.
sure.
And that would be the biggest thing. This is just to change it from ag 5 to minor.
Well,
And the next step then, which it's gonna be, but we have to deal with just the zoning part.
I'll get my PowerPoint ready.
Yes, I would say have your PowerPoint ready. Even though it's zoning that way, Miss Belia says we can't get into what you just said. How's that?
And I'll just add to, when that permit is applied for, staff will likely do a site visit to see what you're describing, talking about, so that
Good.
when it goes into the permit, it's already we can adjust things in the public hearings as it comes,
Sure.
but laying eyes on site as we're building
Yeah,
that
that
will
would be
be
a good idea.
extremely important. Yeah.
Yep. Thank
Okay,
you very much.
thank you. Any other public or the owner? Are you good with the way it is, or
Yeah.
you guys are still good? Okay. All right. All right. Anyone, any questions? Rise, probably not. But all right, let's go through our findings then.
So finding number one, the parcel is 40 acres, which conforms to the M1 zoning district minimum lot size of 5, with residential and ag-related structures on the property. The parcel currently contains residential and ag-related structures on property. The parcel abuts existing parcels zoned M1 to the east, which appears to be used for gravel excavation. Parcel is designated as farmland preservation area. A significant portion of parcels in that area are designated as such, including parcels that are zoned and used for mining operations. The parcel contains approximately 14 acres of water quality management area, shoreland management buffer. I think that's the area of the parcel that the resident is referring to, that northwest part.
Yeah.
And then the town of Balsam Lakes Board of Supervisors voted in favor of the rezone request at their September 25th, 2023 regular meeting. The request approval was for 2 parcels, 006, 00647, 000, and 006, 00662, 0000. However, the rezone request submitted to Polk County was only for 006, 00647, 0000.
So the small part on that last part,
Yeah, that went to the town of supervisor.
that small acreage
Correct.
didn't get in. Okay.
It was not included in this
Okay,
application.
can we go back to 4 then, in farmland preservation area? Can we put farmland preservation plan
Sure.
instead of area maybe? Or planned area or something, so it doesn't seem like it's a district or something.
Planned area
Planned
would be
area.
most accurate.
Would be better if we would just add the word plan.
Sure.
Okay. All right, any other findings, anybody?
At least you clarified it, because when you read through this on that farmland preservation, the way it's written, it appears that it would be with that again.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. So that's why if we, yeah, that's just a better distinction. Those numbers were right. All right. Well, hearing all of that. We'll entertain a motion
I'll make a motion to approve.
to approve. So Tracy, is there a second? Seconded by Doug. All those in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Okay, so that'll move to our December board meeting.
January.
January. We skipped it. That was last night, wasn't
That's
it?
last night. We're not going back.
It was on the consent agenda. We already passed it then. Yeah, I was sitting next to you too. wasn't I?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, so that'll go to the January.
Yep, I'll amend that finding and the,
Okay, yeah, just that one.
Yep.
Okay. And that will, under the consent agenda. That's a rezoning, yes. All right, thank you. Let's go.
All right. The public hearing for Erickson Excavating of Cumberland Inc., RMS LLC, requests a conditional use permit application to operate a non-metallic mine on a property located section 23, town 34 north, range 15 west, the town of Beaver, parcel number 008 00615 0000 10.16 acres. Erickson Excavating operates currently the gravel pit on the northern parcel. And if you recall, in our August 30th committee meeting, this particular parcel came forward for a rezone from RA5 to M1. And was approved by the Environmental Services Committee. But all of the other surrounding properties are zoned RA5. And there is that residential development that is about 400, the back of the house, the closest house is about 480 feet from the property line of the proposed operation. Now, there is a requirement that all pit stockpiles now have to be 100 feet away from the property line, and there are some berms that are in the plan as well that we can talk about later, but about the back half, 4.5 acres of it is in shoreline protection area, but from the plan submitted by the applicant, all of the digging and pit would be on the flat, open half of the parcel. Those structures that are currently there are proposed to be removed at the time, but my understanding is they're currently still in purchase agreement. So based on the rezone CUP getting approved, but once that's approved, those would be removed. And let's see, yeah, that's so that there's background, that's the background on the property. And the proposed operations prior to submittal to the CUP and the rezone, there were test holes that were completed on the property. Gravel reserve was confirmed. The expansion onto this on this parcel is planned to operate in the same fashion as the current Mormons pits that is to the north. And the proposed hours of operation submitted by the applicant are the same as the northern parcel, which is Monday through Saturday, 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the crushing is planned to be completed once a year over an estimated period of 10 days. While not crushing, the pit will consist of gravel road, sand, rock, and gravel stockpiles. Berms are proposed to be placed along the perimeter of the pit to protect neighbors from noise, early morning, late night activities involving light and dust. Map 5 on their submitted reclamation plan. The pen drawing on it shows the drawings where the proposed berms are, as well as the pit expansion onto the property. I'm not sure what phase of the reclamation plan is.
I have it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what was received from their application on their proposed operations, as well as the submitted reclamation plan, a general summary of that, which the applicants did prepare as attached to this report. Post mining, the land use is proposed as open space, passive recreation. The general slope of the final reclaimed grade will be from east to west. And the plan also includes a more specific revegetation plan with timing and seed mix. Reclamation plan as well, obviously. And there are additional questions on that one. biggest concern from the staff standpoint was just the proximity. This particular operation is closer to those residential homes. And it is pretty flat from where the back of those houses are to this next property. There is a little bit of tree coverage and tree split up, but not a lot of mostly flat. So in our proposed conditions, we did, now, of course, it's just staff recommendation, the committee can do what they choose, but we did think that limiting the hours on this particular parcel might be beneficial to the surrounding neighbors, even with the berms. Mostly in terms of noise, and I mean, 5 AM is pretty really with only being 480 feet from the back of these two houses was the approximate measurement.
Okay. When did they had the other permit, I guess I can't remember ever giving somebody 5 to 8.
Yeah, I know, that seems odd.
That seems odd. I'll wait and ask.
And that's, I mean, we're willing to, I
Okay.
realize,
Yeah,
I just
I'm
did the
just
exact
going-
same as what the original permit was.
Sure,
So
right.
That had a-
realistically for us, our operating time would be probably, 6:30 AM till 6:30 PM.
And I think I have 7 to
7 to
7,
7, right?
and then on
Yeah.
Saturdays, 7 to noon, just so it's not.
And we work very rarely on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So it's not a.
I can't remember what year that permit was. We had it just to review it when we were going.
More of it's pit, so I mean, it was.
Yeah.
The original
It was a while
reclamation
ago.
plan was approved in twenty
I was
thirteen.
gonna say 2013.
Yeah. By
So the
Robert
original was
Morgan
2013?
Was the reclamation plan, yes.
And I wanna
Okay.
say the CUP
I'm
was
sure it
the
was,
same year.
yeah, similar
Yeah. That
timeframe.
sounds right.
It was operated by Bob Moravitz previously, and they have purchased the property and took over the reclamation permit of things.
Okay, so about 2013. All right. So then another question I will have is, has Land and Water went through their reclamation plan?
Yes, I've done
To-
preliminary review of it.
Okay.
The major changes, of course, are the addition of the acreages. They did change the end land use from the previous plan was ag land for crop production. Now they are choosing to do more of a passive recreation, so just basically revegetating the site. So then they also changed the seed mix for that. That was the biggest changes of the existing plan and permit.
But the seed mixture, that would be, what is it for like wildlife and something like that?
Yeah, they're going with like a DOT seed mix, which is pretty typical for a lot of our sites. Kentucky bluegrass, fescues, annual rye,
Okay,
things like that, so. I will take any comment received today, as well as any additional things such as setbacks that might affect the reclamation plan, and then our staff would make a decision on approving that outside of this meeting.
oh,
So
okay,
You guys don't need to make any decision on the reclamation side of things today.
sure, okay, so that would be, okay,
We approve those permits. The staff.
as staff, okay, and then, but the hours we do,
Yeah, anything zoning relating site,
that's more of that, okay, but if the setbacks, okay, I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
all right.
anything that you guys decide today that might affect the reclamation plan. We would then work with.
With the
Jordan,
owner to do that,
yeah,
okay.
To change and make that reclamation plan match any zoning decisions.
Really in the CUP, I just included the condition that site reclamation after completion shall be performed according to the submitted plans and then the county ordinance,
Okay, sure,
which then, yeah, you trust your staff to make
Yep,
those
yep,
decisions.
okay.
It's built into this.
It's built in
Yeah,
for
so
that
they're
too.
all- Yeah.
Okay,
So it's about, I mean, this is what you do all the time, but it's bonded for that reclamation.
Yep, so they currently have financial assurance for the existing pit. Any expansion, then we would increase that amount. So, that's all taken care of on the reclamation side of things.
Okay. So then, I read overview of in the plan. We have Shawano County, Wisconsin, when we talk about the soil types. How did that fit in there? No, let's go. Does the applicant? Does the applicant, do you have anything to add, or do you want to come up and speak to any of this?
I could just add a little bit.
Why don't you come up then?
Okay.
And if you think, did you read the conditions that were proposed?
Yes. I feel.
They're not crazy.
No.
The berms, I know they're on your site plan, we just want to make sure that's included as a condition.
According to the site.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, and then lighting, not lighting, not facing into the neighbors. That's pretty much it.
Absolutely. No, and I don't foresee that being a problem. Hours of operation and that I totally understand that won't be a problem. And then to say Saturday, Sunday, that's not a problem. So absolutely. And just kind of the workflow of all this. Our main entrance is up here, kind of the north side of the property, and we would continue to use that the whole time. So we're not going to be, having as much activity down toward the houses as necessary. And totally understand, be conscious of our neighbors there. So that's no big reason we want to have the berm and, protect in the morning, like you guys are saying, don't be shining lights, light plants and stuff while we're crushing for the neighbors. I think, in general, it's just gonna be, the gravel pit, there's a big hill right here, there's a big hill and it's been crushed out, mined out, so a relatively flat grade. And then that hill kind of tapers down into the more flat part of the field, like she was describing, down towards the property line. So we're essentially just gonna be continuing slicing that hill off, taking the gravel reserve out of it and then leaving a relatively flat terrain.
So do you have like a timeline? How many years do you think? Depends on how busy?
It totally depends on the local market.
Okay,
It depends on the year. I really can't say.
sure.
I don't even want to say a timeline. I don't think it.
It's not 100 to your mind.
It's not a tremendous amount of reserve, to be honest with you. Other
Yeah.
pits that we have are 80 acres, 120 acres. Where this is, we're just adding relatively small acreage, but there's an opportunity to work.
Sure. Okay, anybody have questions of the owner? Well, we should be good then. See, there's no public comment. Did we receive any letters or anything from anyone? Any for Oregons?
I didn't receive anything. on
Didn't
this
receive anything on
particular
this one.
application.
Okay,
Not that I'm aware of.
all right. Does anyone have any other questions? Pretty straightforward, all right. Well, then let's go through our findings and things in our, well, let's go through the conditions first. Yes.
Make sure.
Yep, to make sure.
the committee is on board with this. Okay, condition number 1, activities must be conducted according to submitted site plan specifications and narrative unless modified by a condition of this CUP. Hours of operation shall be limited from 7 AM to 7 PM, Monday through Friday, 7 AM to 12 PM, Saturday. Compliance with all necessary state, federal, or registrations, permits, licensing, regulations, evidence shall be provided to the county of all required permits prior to the start of operations. Site reclamation after completion of mineral extraction shall be performed according to submitted plans and specifications and must conform to all requirements in Chapter 20, mine reclamation of Polk County ordinances. The extraction area must be surrounded by berms and the operator shall maintain the berms throughout the duration of active extraction. As should not be there. All pollutants and runoff, all pollutants and runoff must be kept out of the wetlands and stream on the western part of the property. And all lighting must be directed into the extraction area and will not be pointed towards the adjacent properties. Operation shall be annually registered, Polk County, and operator shall adhere to all posted road weight restrictions, which are likely already do for the current operation, but. Yes, important to have in there. Any questions, recommendations? I'll remove that typo and add 6.
No, I think that's good for conditions. I can't think of any to add. I mean, those are the standard kind of ones we had anyway, is mostly ours, and then the rest is the reclamation plan, so,
For the most part.
yeah. So we should be good. I think we're good. Anybody? All right, we're good.
Yeah, and I took a look at, like I said, the other conditional use permit they were operating under on the other parcel. And really that one had a little more of some stormwater conditions built into it, but I didn't see the actual staff report. I just saw the letter from the county approving it that had referenced stormwater control. But I think we might have addressed that in the ensuring that no runoff is going towards that shoreline buffer area on the west side.
Okay,
And all of our mine sites are required to have a stormwater permit through DNR that are specific for sand and gravel pits.
do we have that in there so that it's kind of even, that's kind of,
That would fall under your
The state and federal registration.
that'll fall under the state. Okay, so it falls under that. So we're all right. Okay. Yep.
Just to follow up on all this on the wetland. Is it Mr. Erickson?
Yes.
The last time he spoke, he said they've dealt with wetlands, so he understands the problem.
Yeah.
So it's like this isn't brand new to him. So
Yeah, and as you can see on their proposed location of the pit and where the berms are, it's pretty, I don't know how many feet exactly it is away from that buffer area, but it doesn't encroach into that line at this current time, so.
Okay. You go to,
Findings?
yes.
Okay. Parcel is 10.16 acres with agriculture related structures on the property. The applicant is removing these once the purchase is complete. Lot size of 10.16 acres in a zone mining M1. The operation on the parcel would be a minimum estimated 430 feet from the property line of the closest residential property. Estimated 330 feet from the property line plus the 100-foot setback requirement for any stockpiles or active extraction activity of processes equipment as required in section 4286 D3 of the Polk County Code. There is shoreline protection area on the rear estimated 4.5 acres of the parcel. The proposed gravel pit is not located on that portion of the property. There are existing residential homes to the south that are an estimated 480 feet away from the, oh, that should not be property line. That's, oh yeah, 480 feet away from the property line of the proposed gravel pit. Berms along the property line and around the gravel pit are proposed by the applicant to reduce noise and dust particles impeding surrounding neighbors. There will be access on to 15th Street from the parcel, though it sounds like they're not using that, but it's already there from where it's kind of right there by those ag structures. I think there's a current gravelly entrance. But I wanted to acknowledge that in the findings to show that they aren't adding additional access to the road. Some on there.
Are you gonna use that one, or I thought only to the north?
No, the only one only to the north will be our main traffic. I think we might keep it accessible, you know, for like
Right.
a small vehicle or something. To
Something.
make sure all of our major traffic
Goes to the north. I thought that I read that in your plan too, and everything. Okay.
I can add a finding that, you know, major heavy traffic will utilize the existing north parcels
I
entrance.
think we should. That was stated.
Yep.
All right.
And then I can adjust number 7 to reference that they're keeping that driveway access or road access, but then add when that major truckload. traffic
Goes to,
will
yeah, it comes
utilize.
out the existing one.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Crushing is proposed once a year for an estimated 10-day period. The land is suited for gravel per the soil test performed on the property.
Okay. Just for the last one, that there was notices were sent out and received.
Yeah.
We should put that in there,
Okay,
that there was no
public comment.
complaints or whatever. Just said, I mean, it was sent out.
Yep.
And nothing was received, so
Okay.
they can't come back and say they
Absolutely.
complained and they didn't show up or whatever. And at least we're kind of covered that way. All right, did anybody see anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion for this one.
Make a motion. to accept.
Motion to approve is from Doug.
I'll second it.
Right name. Right, and I have a second, then all those in favor then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that one, well, that does not go to the county board, does it?
CUPs?
Yeah. No, this is done.
We'll amend the findings as
Yes,
out today, and then it'll get filed and
away we go.
in its
Yep,
approved form with our.
sure.
Yep,
Okay,
perfect,
thank you.
absolutely.
Here we go.
There we go.
All right. We'll have- Tim, we might as well finish you up.
I'll defer to Eric since he said he had a couple updates and then I'll wrap up the division
Oh,
update.
okay, he's got some too. Okay.
Well, we're tag teaming this division update, and I just thought it'd be good to bring a few items from the Land and Water Resource Department side of things, so thanks, Tim. Just wrapping up year-end items. Any grant reports and reimbursement requests to get the money back that we paid out for conservation practices and programming and things like that, so we're working diligently on that. Next item is our tree sale. We're gearing up for another year of tree sales in our Land and Water Department. That's a pretty important program of ours and requested by a lot of citizens. A big change worth noting is this year's tree sale will be online. So we're no longer mailing order forms. We will do a tree sale notice as a mailing and point citizens to the direction of our online store to make their purchases on trees. So we're getting that set up. I can't give you a date yet on when that'll be available, but it'll be coming in January, hopefully sooner rather than later. And the last item I have is this time of year, we always post for our summer internship program. We value that program and enjoy giving experience to our young up and coming resource professionals and sharing what we do. So that internship will be posted. It's posted now and posted through January 31st. So if you know of any college age students that are in the natural resources field that are local or interested in a summer internship program, please forward that on to them. We're looking for good candidates.
You look for one or two?
Two.
Try to get two, okay,
Yeah.
two,
Yep.
okay,
Two seems to work real well.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah. That's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you for that. We should find out that update too, that when you call the county line, you don't even get land and water.
I'll note that as well.
Note that, I called the other day, I went through about 20 phone numbers, it took 15 minutes to get to Nicole.
Oh,
We can
really?
just direct every phone call that comes into the county to Land and Water.
There. But it wouldn't even mention land and water. I went through a lot of numbers. I had to just finally hit a number and she answered the phone. I could just went, how does this happen? So I would check that, the lanes are terrible, because if you
Yeah.
go backwards or forward, it just hangs up on you.
We'll add it to the calls we get from Polk County, Minnesota, Polk County, Florida.
Yeah, the Florida,
Yeah.
states with
when you go to look something up, Florida comes up all the time,
Yeah.
yeah.
Polk County, Iowa. We're inundated with calls.
Yep. All right,
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, before I wrap things up, I just wanted, I think last meeting I talked about, brought up the information that Steve Geiger, our county surveyor, is retiring, so I thought I'd just take a few minutes just to recognize his career here. He's had a long and successful career. He's been here since the 90s. He's been through a lot of changes and he's had some notable successes here at the county. I just wanted to kind of list a few of those. He was instrumental in developing and modifying our first subdivision ordinance and has tweaked it several times over the years for that. So that's been a key piece of legislation here at the county to help with land development here in the county to be done properly. The public land survey system, corner remonumentation, he single-handedly or with some assistance has done a good job of monumentizing all the corners, section corners in the county. Probably the biggest champion of parcel mapping efforts in the county, which have been completed. And so they'll keep modernizing and we can associate all sorts of data related to parcel layers here in the county. So that's been a huge benefit to us as staff, the residents of the county and the businesses in the county. He's also championed us getting LiDAR and high quality aerial imagery, which also helps in our decision making, both here as staff and then out in the broader public. These are absolutely crucial pieces of data that we utilize on a daily basis here in the county, both internally and with our external stakeholders. He's also been a fantastic resource for us as employees, and it's been a wealth of information and guidance to the county surveyors that are, that practice here privately in the county. So without his guidance, things wouldn't be done quite as well, that's for sure. I wanted to let you know that his last day will be next Friday, so the 29th of December. So if you get a chance to say hello or wish him all the best going forward, please do so. I personally and our leadership here at the Environmental Services Division want to thank him for his time and his leadership, especially he stepped into the role of being interim director a couple of times when we've had division directors leave. And in that time, he provided a lot of quality leadership and decision making during some tumultuous changes sometimes. So I want to thank him for that. He's going to be very much missed as a colleague, right? He always has a sense of humor. So it's been a pleasure to work with Steve. So we wish him all the best going forward.
I know the Environmental Service Director, Sarah McCurdy, couldn't be here today, but along with her and myself, I want to thank Steve for all his work and the accomplishments he's done for the county and wish him the best in his next phase here. But he's been here a long time, he's done a lot of great work for the county.
How many years was he here?
28.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds right.
it's quite a few, it's in the 20s.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, 96. So yeah, all the best to Steve and his family. That gives me kind of a good transition to talk about staffing issues here at the county. With Steve's departure, we obviously have a new vacancy in the division. That position description has been reviewed and it is currently live. So we're actively recruiting for a new county surveyor internally. I don't remember the date that closes, but I believe it's a few weeks out. Exactly. So if you know anybody that's interested in doing that work, it's a key role that will need to get filled in terms of doing parcel mapping and processing subdivision applications. And So it's a vital role that we'll need to fill with another quality person, hopefully. Update on the zoning administrator position. That position closed last Monday, a couple days ago. Unfortunately, we did not get any new applications for that. So the position will still get reevaluated internally to see if there's another way to go about it or another way to advertise it, that kind of thing, but we'll keep you posted as to how things are developing for the zoning administration position, so. Any questions on that? And of course, Eric mentioned the internship program that's with Land and Water. Land Information will also have an intern this summer, mostly working with Brad on doing E911 updates. So addressing those kinds of things, they'll be working hand in hand with Brad this summer. Any questions on that? No. Okay. All right. As a reminder, we're in our everyone's favorite season, ordinance amendment season. So we'll be bringing you the updates that we have, both from Supervisor O'Connell and staff at the January 3rd meeting. One question I guess I did have for you guys is there's been some questions about the renewable energy ordinance and hearing information from Polk. I don't know if you want to roll those together or if you want to do those separately, which would mean you might need to delay it a little bit, but I'm just kind of curious whether the committee wants to go with that.
If we're too full, the third's gonna be pretty full, I think. I think we do the renewable energy separate then, or have it on another one, because otherwise we get into 4 hours of permit or ordinances, it's our interest isn't there. It gets a little too long and drawn out. I mean, then we start just not caring. So I think we have to split it up a little.
Okay, sounds good. Well,
because he wants to do somewhat of a presentation so he can discuss a little and tell us why he thinks we should divide it up more. So,
yeah, and then we can keep on track moving forward with
with our other ones that we really want to get through.
Right.
Okay.
George Rooney House
Can we
stuff.
get an update on the Apple River one?
The Apple River,
Solar.
that is still just sitting.
I haven't heard anything in terms of new information or.
I mean, I get it at the town level because we're in that
Group.
hub, you know, that you can watch their progress, those kinds of things. So like their permitting processes and things like that are, you know, and whatever hearings they have and things like that. But I'm getting a lot of questions at the town level about that.
Okay.
Like what is going on with it, along with that project on 63, that 1,000-acre, what do you want to call it?
Recreational corner.
Yeah.
They have to get it next in.
So I'm
first.
not 100% sure what's going on with that, but we're getting a lot of calls.
We can have an update on those two topics for the next meeting if you'd like.
Or whichever, I mean, second one is fine too, if we have a whole,
If it's an update, we can do it.
yeah. I mean, just so that there's a little awareness for people because we don't know what to tell them anymore.
Yep, makes sense. Yeah, we can take up some.
A lot of it's planning and they haven't even applied for anything. So it's
I
just.
know you
it's
tell them
out
that
there.
and that's just not good enough. They're wanting more,
Sure.
Coffee chat.
you know.
Yeah, a lot of
But I
it's
wanna do
still
it-
at the state level, so it's still in that planning phase. So the last letter I got was more planning on the solar Apple River site, was just more of that planning stuff at the commission level. So
Right?
In the 1,000, they need to get the sewer watered into Turtle Lake or not. and-
Yeah,
and
no,
the
when you talk
racetrack and-
annexation
And all
from
that.
one to another, people see red. And that's not a good thing. So, yeah.
But that's a big wish list. that
I
people-
know, but you know how people are when they have their morning coffee.
Other than that, that's what I
We're
got.
good.
So just wish you guys all happy holidays.
How about for the work plan? As long as you're up there, are you gonna wait for Sarah to help us with that?
I can help with that, Kim, too.
What?
Chairman, I have one.
Go ahead, ask.
I know that you and I discussed it, but if we go back to this farmland preservation, can we? Made that one because of farmland preservation.
That was the true farmland preservation.
But that's what
So,
I'm trying to find out.
yes, it was. I asked, we went through and found that was.
That was a zoning, farmland preservation zoning district. This case included the broader farmland preservation area. So
Planned area.
this planned area has no land use restrictions tied to it. It just identifies the fact that those are parcels suitable for agricultural lands to be preserved.
Right.
The McKinley case included a zoning designation of farmland preservation zone. Hopefully that-
So it was, this farmland preservation is like the comp plan. It's a wish list.
Yeah.
But the one in McKinley that we talked about, I had them check, and that was farmland preservation.
Okay, that helps a lot, just so I won't have it.
That's what I had
Thinking
too.
about
We went and found out. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, I did. To see if we have to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You gonna help our work plan?
I've got it right here, ready to go.
What,
So for the next, I've got the January agenda going. I
okay,
have the presentation from Polk. I do have on here a final report from UW Extension Ag Agents. I know that's something you guys have talked about, but they haven't come on. Do we want to reach out to them? Is that something you want to see?
I don't
Are
think there
we
was
just
that anyway.
not doing that?
if
ignoring
they
it?
don't wanna come and do it, then they don't, I guess. I
But
don't
check
know.
with them,
Yeah,
okay? Cody's coming back for the claims and his program report for the wildlife crop damage. Forestry, there's quite a few items. I'm checking with Brent also. He was gonna check on them, but right now I have the forest distribution of payments to towns, the administrator grant, the same, and then the same two items that were on today's, the resolution for the stewardship funding and the MOU and parcel number.
okay.
And then we have the ordinance audit review and recommendation for changes. The environmental services division update, and then the usual work plan litigation next agenda. I also still have on here from old ones, updates from the comprehensive trail network plan. We haven't had any updates on that for quite a while. Should we probably have one of those coming soon?
For the trail, we should do that on the second meeting,
Second
if we
meeting.
have a second meeting, because I don't know. Is the tourist rooming house part of the next one coming?
The ordinance stuff that Tim and I and
Yeah,
Sarah
that
will
are,
review,
that,
yes.
that is included in there.
Yep, that's included in the ordinance audit review and recommendations.
I wonder if that shouldn't be written out though, so people see that on the agenda that are interested in that.
Do you want me to, do you guys have like are you just going through all of the ordinances, or can we
I
touch
can
on
get
which
with you,
ones?
Tim and I can get with you to make sure that we articulate the agenda with sufficient specificity to give people notice, because we need to clean up the Board of Adjustment language.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could list them, which
I
sections
think
are
we better
being
list
cleaned
them
up
because
too.
people are gonna say
Okay.
that we skipped them again.
No, I get, I think that's
You
a
know.
valid point.
Yeah.
Okay,
Does Land and Water have any updates yet? Nothing on your stuff then?
Nothing in January, just wanted to make sure Cody was on there.
That Cody was on there yet for that damage, okay.
I'll check with Brent on the forest administrator grant. Because the budget resolution gave authorization to apply for those grants versus having to come back to committee all the time on them.
Some of them, though, the committee has to do.
yeah,
a-
he said he might need a motion on that one. I did
I
ask him
think he
about
does
that if
because
he
it's
needed
half
them,
his salary.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a few of them that require that extra.
yeah, just a little.
He's checking on what he did last year and he was gonna let me know.
I
if
think
it
we had to
needed
do
be-
it last year.
Thank you.
I'll get this posted hopefully this afternoon yet, so everybody will see it.
Do we know if we have any public hearings? Not in the pipeline for the,
That I'm aware of, but that doesn't mean they don't exist.
okay.
I'll check with zoning.
Down there. So
Yep, I've
let's,
got presentation from Polk Burnett. Sarah
Okay.
talked,
Second meeting or the
the
first?
first.
The first meeting.
On the third, Sarah
It's a
talked to
long
him about
meeting.
coming.
We could do the ordinance stuff in the second meeting.
I think we do it on the first, because the second one, then we take everything in, see what we want to change, and then the second, we
Yeah.
can
The second
put it
meeting,
together better.
what day is the second meeting in January?
17th, I think.
I'll be gone the 17th.
You'll be gone. Well, then we'll get stuff done.
No, that's only when you're gone.
I know. It's only when I'm gone, yeah.
So I might, if it's okay with you, Kim, would you mind if I change the work plan and instead of having it all on one, actually separate these columns into the first meeting and the second meeting? So we can
That'd be
actually see
awesome.
it a little bit clearer. So when we're putting things, we know which one we want them on.
Yes, we should,
Can
yeah,
I, are you okay with that change?
yeah, I think we
Okay,
can.
I'll make that change and I'll send it
Yeah.
out to you guys as well.
Because then we can see if there, like in the middle of the year, there isn't a lot on the second meeting, we'll just not.
Right, exactly. We can
That's
consolidate
what we
where
can
needed.
consolidate.
Mhm.
Okay. So everything else, the only thing we haven't had is an update on, what did you say, the park stuff and all
The
that.
comprehensive trail, we haven't had
the
one
trail
of those for a
network
while,
stuff.
so we can add that to the second meeting.
And that's usually was in Public Works anyway, but we get it too, so, all right.
Yeah, the only other thing I want to mention for the work plan, just to put on your radar, is that the comp plan will be starting up, the process for the comp plan will be starting up next year, so we'll have some discussion. I'm not exactly sure when, but on the process for updating that and getting some updates going
On
for
that.
next year. Same with the bicycle and pedestrian plan, working with regional plan. That's been delayed a couple of times through the position of the chair, and then there were other priorities at the time.
Okay, and that's with West Central, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. And were we at the county board thrown into that housing piece too?
Oh, were you guys? Yeah, because zoning, maybe.
Health and Human Services and then us, so I haven't heard anything moving forward much on
No, it's
that.
general government and health and human services.
Maybe they went that way instead of us, hopefully. Too many irons in the fire there otherwise. Okay,
We could certainly update you. I mean, beyond,
well, we'll hear it
Beyond what's happening.
what's
yeah.
happening anyway, because yeah, I mean, because I don't think the stuff isn't out there yet anyway.
The applications are out there.
Oh, they are, okay,
Information's getting out to the towns and villages. We just have not received any applications back yet.
sure. Okay,
So, Chairman,
yep,
has there been any update on the emergency stay from the appeals court?
no, we're still waiting on both fronts. So the motion for reconsideration and the motion to stay that we filed with Judge Black, and then also our appeal and motion in the appellate court. We're waiting to hear from both. So there's no real litigation update of any kind. Oh, but there is a
Go ahead.
oh, unless you're not on that yet? Oh, that's at the very end. Never mind. I was jumping ahead.
not by much. We're,
Pretty much there.
we're there because 12 is gone.
Okay, so
We are on 13, that's you.
the litigation update was regarding the Wisconsin Realtors Association claim. I filed, so remember, filed a motion to dismiss saying the Realtors Association doesn't have standing. They filed their response. I got my last kick at the can. Then we had a hearing. Judge Tolan said, I want you to brief more. So then I filed another brief, the other side filed another brief, and I filed my final brief. So that's 6 briefs, all on this motion, but that was due on Monday, whatever day the 18th was. And I filed it. I can certainly email that to you guys if you want to look at what I wrote, but I sent it to Sarah, Mo. That was it. And so now there's an oral ruling from Judge Tolan set for later in January. See if I can pull up the date. Also, I will be at the Board of Adjustment tomorrow, and thanks to Supervisor O'Connell, I will be presenting why their attorney was wrong in advising them on the Blue Rock Quarry. It doesn't matter for that case because they stipulated that it goes straight to the circuit court, and that's fine. I think that's totally reasonable. But just so it's clear that they can still hear appeals of conditional use permit denials or grantings from this
grants from
committee.
those, yeah.
So I'll be there tomorrow and sharing that with them.
Okay,
It's really good.
Yeah. So,
Any other questions?
No, thank you.
14,
I'll make a motion to.
motion to adjourn from Doug. Is there a
Jay
second?
was gonna do it.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.